Good evening to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the globe, around the world. I also expected some of my classmates to be tuning in from all over the world. Thank you very much for coming to my live stream. This is my second, oh no, third already. But actually, the second you will see in my recording of the interview I had with my classmates. The first was the conversation with the proponents of the livelihood project and the help for the jeepney drivers. And I published that in my YouTube channel, Avic Caparas. I published that last Monday. And I'm so happy that I think it was yesterday when, because a friend of mine donated a brand new phone, they came, the mother and son, and they were able to receive the phone. So thank you very much for that donation. You really made a child happy. He must be grateful. So if you have not seen that video, it's in my uploads. That was Monday. So this is really my first public live stream. This is really live. So I don't know what will happen, but really the idea is to share to you, especially since I realized that my YouTube audience, they are young people. And of course, I don't want to shoo you away because I'm still a teacher and I would like to really impart some learnings. I'm continuously learning, so I really want to impart some learning. So I really thought that you might be helped by the tips and tricks on studies. So I have invited some of my friends. So basically, this will be half of the live stream will be a recording of my interview with my friends and classmates, former classmates in UE. So, so who is this? Who this stream is for? Really, these are for the students who want to ace the exams. No, you don't just want to get pwede na, basta pumasa. It's really not something that can be characteristic that your employers, future employers would like. Hindi pwede yung pwede na. No? So we want always to excel. And I said that in the third part, that you're really ready to excel. And this stream is really for those who are sick of trying, but not really trying, because we have to be honest with ourselves. If the results are not coming, then perhaps if the good results, if the 100%, they are not coming out in the exam results, then probably we're not really trying. So I want to give you some little steps that I did to really make my grades higher at a certain point in my college career. Very, very simple. I hope that by the end of this stream, you will change a little bit of those things, some habits, and I hope that later on you will really up your grade point average. And lastly, the stream is really for those who want to achieve your dreams. You will be introduced to UE graduates who have excelled and who are now really top in their careers, almost retiring, no? But of course, we're very young. We can always move to another career, except, of course, I'm not saying that one of my friends who's already a chairman is going to retire. No, he's just saying that my other friends could actually retire already. So you'll see that in the recording. Let me just move my, okay. So who this stream is not for, this is not really for those who do not want to study. And I think with the K-12, there is really a possibility for you not to proceed to college, to stop college, and really just try to work first so that you will wait until you're really motivated to study, because it's going to be a waste of time, no, and money. So this stream is really not for those who do not want to excel. We have to always want to excel. We have to be better, no? And then this stream is not for those who have a generation bias. You know, I'm really thinking that every Friday I could have this stream, because there are many top notchers that I know. Some of them, they were proposed recently to me, but I said probably with my 1 hour of live stream, now there might not be any time. But I have this list of people I have requested that they friend me in Facebook so that later on I could invite them, very young people. So today you might hear older people, no? But I hope you will not be biased against age, because we learn from experience. No, as they say, I've been there, done that. So it's really good to profit from the experience of the people who have gone ahead, no, in terms of experience and age. So I hope that you will not close your ears and say, "Nako, panahon pa pala yan ng ano, Ninoy Aquino assassination." Um, I hope you will not be demotivated because you see older people here. So there, and this stream is not for those who are pessimistic. The ones who will say, it has worked for Dr. Avic, it might not work for me. It has worked for Mr. Wilson Tan. He's now a chairman of SGV, but it might not work for me. So I hope you learn to put a little bit more of optimism in your life. That will be also another talk. If you put it in your comments, you like that, I'm going to invite more, because I think that with my YouTube channel, we'll have more of these interviews. And if you're going to stick around in my channel, although of course I said in my previous YouTube video, you let your mommies, your daddies know that I have this channel, because really originally it's not that I don't like you, but I was really surprised that you majority of the people watching my channel are younger ones. Perhaps you really wanted some online learning, no, some tips in order to learn well. So that's really good. That's a good sign that you really wanted something to improve yourself, to improve in your studies. So you're much welcome in my channel, and probably I just have to dedicate a day that I'm really going to give tips to the younger generation. Okay, do you like that? Let me know in the comments. Don't be so shy. Put yourself in the comments. And also, because I still have some books to distribute. If I think I only got some 3 people who took a screenshot of my. Uh, this is. I think this is going to. Okay, so I have some pre-loved books that I wanted to distribute. Okay, not simply for myself to declutter, but really because I know books are expensive. So I said in Instagram that if you give a screenshot of my story, I'm going to include you in the raffle of these pre-loved books. But you can also screenshot yourself watching this live stream. Screenshot your screen and tag me in Instagram. I think my story in Facebook has disappeared. It's the first, somehow I just came back to Facebook. So I think I'm a little bit more knowledgeable when it comes to Instagram, but not so much. I'm still trying to be in social media. Don't say it's a generation gap, okay? But if you will give me a short tutorial, of course, I can meet you in Zoom, okay? We are always learning. So my promise to you, I hope to deliver as much value as humanly possible in the next 60 minutes. And I will share real life examples of how these tips work for real people and achievers at that. I started reading more of the stories. It's not that I don't like the essays, but somehow the stories from real people really stick more to my mind. So when I do my reading every day, I always choose stories, and somehow it's much more memorable. So I thought that with this live stream of study tips, I don't really want to focus on my own story alone, or I just don't want to focus on tips. I want to give you stories, and these stories are coming from the achievers themselves. So in return, I really ask that if you want to learn, you close all tabs on your computer or laptop to avoid the distractions. I know that because of the online learning, some people have learned to have Netflix, a little bit of Netflix there. But I tell you that the mind has a little capacity to multitask. I used to think that I'm a multitasker, but after reading on time management, I realized that the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. If you get distracted and you watch a movie, you watch that little window of Netflix, then you don't really get to learn about the tips. So just for the 1 hour, treat yourself with these study tips. Okay. Hi, Ange. Okay, so, and then turn off your mobile phone and keep it on silent mode if possible. Okay, and do comment in the chat box. I tell you that since I have still very few people who have given me some screenshots, who have tagged me in Instagram, I still need more people. So I will also get them from the comments in the chat box. And if you have some questions in the last, I want to make sure that I can attend to your questions in the last 10 minutes of this live stream around 5:50, or shall I say 5:45? We will see how this works. And I will also answer those questions. You can ask me, you can ask my advice on your study habits, and let's see how we can give some tips. Probably I can see some tips to some areas to improve in the way that you study. Okay, so let me know how you study. Okay. Hi, Risa. Thank you for the people from Kingfisher who are here. I think I've seen two, Bill and Risa. Okay, so today you will learn the top tips and tricks from three summa cum laude graduates. And so I will I will introduce them later. And two magna cum laudes and four CPA top notchers. So Wilson, and Hernie are top notchers and summa cum laude graduates. Arnel is a magna cum laude. And the next interview I will have Mary Ann Avedana is a magna cum laude. So you have a rich source of tips. Okay. So my name is, for my students, for my former students, they call me Dr. Avic, but even accountants, I give seminars in PICPA. Even for accountants, they call me Doc Avic. Okay. So I don't want to say that I have retired because I continuously teach. I retired from a specific institution, that's University of Asia Pacific, but I continuously teach. And that right now I do with my video creation in YouTube. Okay. And now that I am using Ecom Live, so that's another software for Mac, I will try to do more live stream. So this is an exciting new opportunity opened up by Ecom Live. And I thought that really I want to ride in the fact that many people are watching videos every day. So I want to be able to teach in that pathway through videos. And I am a mentor. I've been mentoring, not all ages. Okay, so if you also ask me questions, you can be you can be also my mentee. So continue asking me. And I'm a work-life balance coach. I've learned how to balance even from the time that I was studying for my CPA board exam. Sometimes I was looking at I still have my diary or my calendar from my CPA. I think this is the year that I graduated from UE and I started my review. And I was looking at them and it says absent, absent from the review. And I was already doing some balance because if I already know the topic, then I wouldn't have to go to Manila anymore. I will save the time, the commuting time, and focus on other topics. Okay, nice, thank you. I keep seeing the comments. Yeah, keep them coming. Okay. So so up to now, I've been trying to help people to balance their work and life. Okay. And as I mentioned, I consider myself not as a YouTuber only, basically video creation for many things. I even try to do or edit a virtual choir. So I'm continuously learning and I love it. Probably I will expound a little bit more on a short virtual choir that we did with some friends of mine on August 15. I said, you can watch many other YouTubers on how they did that, but I thought, I think I owe them some explanation of how I did that. So I will still update it. So just look for that in my YouTube channel. Okay, and I'm a constant learner, no, because you will see later on that Mr. Wilson Tan of SGV mentioned that it's not just a matter of, it's not so topping the board exam is not as important as the fundamental skills early in life. And I think that it's something that I have nurtured throughout the years, being able to always learn, no? I actually I have to tell you the truth. I left Facebook 2 years ago, probably October 2018. No, um, why did I leave Facebook? It's just that I thought probably you have also experienced it. No, sometimes you can just be spending the whole time going through all the news feed, answering, liking. So I left Facebook, but recently, since I enrolled in several online courses, they also give the possibility of learning from a community. So they say, okay, join our Facebook group. And I said, how can I join? The first one, iPhone photography, that I enrolled in, I joined through a dummy account. But then I joined another course and then another course, and I said, I think I have to go back to Facebook. And that's why you will see in my Facebook cover story, cover photo, that I have come back to Facebook because of online courses. And I love these communities. There are many communities, no, that I have joined. I'm learning from one another. We are learning from one another. Okay. So I have not, I mean, I was not an achiever since I was born. So I wanted to motivate you that if you have not if you're not achieving right now, tomorrow is a day to begin. Okay. So I have to tell you that my I went to kindergarten, but it's not really something that is in a school, brick and mortar. It's really like under mango tree near our house. My mother would bring me there. I still have a photo of that, but I quit that. There was a day that I said I don't want to go anymore. So I'm a quitter. Actually, I was no. And there was a time that my siblings, if my siblings are here, you better tell me in the comments, okay? I didn't move. There was a time, grade one and grade two, I didn't move or follow instructions in flag ceremonies. So until a time that my father would be late in going to his office to see me, and when I see him, then I start moving. No, so I'm a bit stubborn. I was. I think I'm still am. So, and then I was an underachiever until grade four. I didn't realize it until a certain group of classmates of mine, including myself, were moved from section A. If Let Sarmiento is around, I was moved from Let remain in the top section. I was moved to a lower section, and I went home and I was crying. I think I arrived home at 3 o'clock. I was crying and really with all the self pity, no. And my mother arrived at around 5:30 and asked why I was crying. And I mentioned it that I could not believe I was moved to a lower section. I was in a Holy Spirit school in Malolos. So my mother who, just told me that I think you have to be grateful because if you will study better, then probably you get to the top of that section. So look at that as an opportunity. So imagine grade four. So I still remember that, no? Because it was like the beginning of really trying to be better. So I ended elementary as a honorable mention. So little joys, no? And then I can say that I was sort of a mediocre in the first 2 years of college. You know, when my classmates were talking about admission tests in UP, in Ateneo, I was just finished already with my application for UE. Why only UE? I only applied to UE. Why? Because my brother studied in UE, and when he was in the third year and I was like fourth year already thinking of going, I realized that I like UE because of the scholarship. Because my brother came home one day saying that because of his grades in the previous semester, my mother would pay, my parents would only pay half of the tuition. So I thought that is good. I thought that I could also help my parents if I get the scholarship. So when I say mediocre is my goal was just to get a half scholarship. Okay, and I thought that's already a huge amount of money. And I will tell you later on what happened to me. Okay, so when I was getting the half scholarship, I thought that that is a mediocre life because I was capable of getting a full scholarship. Okay, so I think if I'm not mistaken, some of my classmates are here. Can you tell me, was it like a 1.25 average? I think it's like when you get a 1.25, one being the highest, you get below 1.25, you get a half scholarship. So you pay half of the tuition for the next semester. So in that way, I thought it's mediocre life because I'm okay with a half scholarship, until something converted me. And from the third year onwards, I was into a full scholarship every semester. And the being a summa cum laude is just the result of aiming to get a full scholarship. Okay. Hi, Janelle. Kyla. Okay. So, uh, I have to appreciate the presence of my former students in UAMP. It's like a year ago I was teaching them cost accounting, I think, no, or logic. I cannot remember. So welcome. This is page 8. Okay, so this is why I'm passionate about helping you stop underachieving and start aiming for excellence without the similar failures and pains that I and my classmates went through. I have to thank Vanessa Lau for this, for lending us, students of hers in the coaching academy. Um, I was able to make use of this when I was preparing. So thank you very much, Vanessa. I think I should tag you in this video. Okay, so that's it. And now I would like to go to my highlight. Let is my classmate from was it elementary, grade 5? No, Let. She's also my second cousin. Okay. Okay. So what will happen in this live stream? Imagine we have spent 22 minutes here. So what will happen is I will show you the recording that I had last Tuesday with the top notchers. We're actually 5 top notchers. I will advance the information, top 20. So these were the 5 of us from UE. So this came, it's a clipping from a newspaper advertisement that University of the East released because we were 5. So I think it's like really the first time again that UE regained its glory of having top notches. So I reached the 20th. Thanks be to God. No, with 87%. I think we were like, I have to double check later after the recording. The first one is a very short introduction, and we will proceed to discussing the tips to be summa cum laude. Okay, so the introduction will happen, and it's a recording. Okay, I have to tell you that I'm so thankful to Wilson for adjusting to the time because Hernie, our top 10, is now in Houston, and he said that 6 p.m. Manila time, if he were to join the live stream, is going to be super early in the morning. Let me see what time would that be in Houston right now. So it's 5:24 a.m. for Hernie, and it's not good for his sleep. So I asked that. I asked Wilson. So can we possibly get a time? It's good that I did not have to pass through a secretary. I just said, Wilson, could you manage to have an early morning interview? Because Hernie can actually join us if it's going to be in the morning. So he said last Tuesday he had a meeting at 9 o'clock, so we could have the interview at 8 o'clock. So it happened. Okay, so I better stop talking or we will be hours in this. Okay. So the first is the introduction. Okay, I'll come in also for a while. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy that you are here for this study tips, and I hope that all of these tips will be helpful for you. Again, this live stream was due to the fact that I noticed that my YouTube channel, my audience, has shifted to the 13 to 17 and all males, whereas originally my audience are all women and around 45 to something. So I thought I better take advantage of your presence here and give you study tips to help you really ace your college exams, and if you are accounting students, to help you pass the board exam. So I have invited two of my former classmates from UE, and they are both summa cum laude and also top-notchers. So we were five. Hopefully, I will be joined also by Arnel Marasigan, but at the moment, he is still traveling, he said, but I gave him the link. So let's see how this will work out. So first of all, I introduce to you Mr. Wilson Tan.
Yay!
I graduated from UE in 1987. That was March, and took the CPA board exam in October of that year. And then I joined the firm Sisib Gores Velayo, or SGV and Company, in November of 1987. I've been with the firm for 33 years now, and the Lord has been good to me, guiding me through my journey in SGV. I am now at the helm of SGV. Took over the chairmanship and managing partner position July 1 of this year.
Yay! Hi, I'm Hernie Antonio. Same with Wilson. I graduated, in the same class in '87. Took the board in October '87 as well. Unlike Wilson, who's been so loyal with one firm, I jumped from one firm to another. So hopefully this will be my last firm in Houston. I'm connected with Briggs and Baselka, which is an independent firm here in Texas. I'm an audit director and basically leading the technical aspects of our firm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I missed the applause also for Arnel, and really he deserves it, because I texted him early if he was getting my my messages in Viber, and he said I'm still traveling by that time. So I said, never mind, if you can just join in, better join in. And I realized that this is the first time that all of us have, and the three of them who were Barkada in UE, first time that they would meet one another again through this video. Okay, so I now introduce Arnel Marasigan. Okay.
Hello, I'm Arnel Marasigan. I graduated from UE, batch 87. I am now with Petron Corporation.
Okay, so let's start. I would like to ask your top 3 study tips on how you became, study strategies, why you became summa cum laude.
Oh, Hernie, ikaw na mauna. Ikaw pinakamatangkad.
Oh, President, the president of our UE program would like to do the honors. Di ba ikaw president? Ako ba? Hindi ko alam ah.
Oo.
Ikaw yung
Kayong dalawa.
presidente.
Huwag niyo nang sabihin.
Si Hernie yung si Hernie yung una, kasi siya yung magulo dati, so ginawa siyang presidente.
Oo nga. Tapos nabigay sa akin yata.
Nagkudeta kayo, kaya tinanggal niyo ako.
Naging involved kay Karen, kaya siguro nawala ng concentration. Di ba? Okay, Hernie.
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm probably the most undisciplined student in our batch. Parang I study whenever I like it, or whenever there's a test in the following day. But I think the best thing that really helped me during our college days is yung peer group. I remember, I just can't remember because masyado nang matagal more than 30 years. I remember those times that we usually go to the library to study as a group. Hindi ko alam kung kasama kayo noon pero I think I have a small I have a regular group at that time, like RC, and then of course you need an inspiration, yun ang ano doon.
Okay.
It's either inspiration sa teacher or inspiration sa mga classmates.
Okay, very good. Oh, sige, that's nice. Study group, no? Study group and inspiration, and being in the library also. Okay, great. Pag may ma-remember ka pa, sasabihin mo, Hernie, no? So now we move to Wilson, ikaw
Arnel.
mag-volunteer? Ano?
Hindi,
Ikaw una,
Antonio
Wilson.
Marasigan Tan.
O
Oh, tama
sige.
yun.
Sige na nga.
ganun daw
Sige.
ba?
So, okay.
Managing
So,
partner eh. Sundin na nga natin.
managing. Sundin. Oh,
Sundin
so,
nga
on
natin
my
to.
part, wala akong ma-recall na na talagang special na formula na ginagawa ko. I just study kung may test. But every day, ang goal ko noon is to understand the lessons para hindi ako mahirapan na magka-cramming pagdating ng exam. So, dapat more or less naintindihan ko yung lesson on a daily basis para nga pagka may exams, hindi ako nagka-cramming. Pero ang one factor na siguro iduktong ko doon kay Hernie is surrounded ako ng mga friends na pare-pareho ng interest. Sino mga kasama ko noon? Si Wilson. So, hindi mga bulakbol eh. So, minsan kahit nag-uusap kami, yung lessons ang pinag-aaral, ang pinag-uusapan si Hernie. So, yung friends natin noon, yung circle of friends, hindi, nag-enjoy tayo pero alam natin na, teka, kailangan naintindihan natin yung lesson. So, even mga vacant, minsan may mga vacant subject class tayo noon pero ang usapan is napupunta pa rin doon sa mga lessons na pinag-aaralan natin. So in a way, malaking factor din yun eh. So hindi ka nag-aaral pero technically hindi ka talaga nag-aaral pero dahil nagdi-discuss kayo, nag-uusap kayo, mas tumatanim sa isip ko yung ganong exchanges of ideas. And then ang third factor sa akin kaya siguro is yung motivation na talaga na mag-aral. Siguro iba lang doon kay Hernie yung motivation ko. Kasi we're not very well off. So my parents are elementary school teachers. So ang isang motivation ko is syempre makakuha ng mataas na grades for the scholarships. So hindi ako nag-aim noon ng wala sa isip ko yung graduating with honors. Ang foresight ko lang noon is or ang outlook na tinitingnan ko is get the grades so I can have good grades so I can maintain my scholarship. Kaya nahirapan ako nung nandan mo tol na wala tayo ng isang Sem Wilson. Tol, kaya sa English natin, nawala kami. Binigyan ako ng siyam lang yata kami pumasa noon eh.
Filipino yata yun. Filipino. Yung natutulog na professor.
Hindi yung din ng din ng College of Arts and Sciences. Alam mo 'yon? Oo.
Spanish?
Hindi siya English teacher natin eh.
Oo.
Ilan lang tayong pumasa sa klase niya. Hindi mo na matandaan.
40 years ago na yata yung from 30 pa.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, yun ang 3 points ko siguro na would like to contribute.
Hindi yata tayo mag-classmate nun.
Hindi, mag-classmate tayo nun, tol. Lala mo, siyam lang tayong pumasa.
Yeah, meron ngang English at may English professor na
Talaga?
Siyam lang tayong pumasa.
Ang galing na memory.
Ayan, ba yung nag-ano tayo? Merong lab?
Hindi, mabait yun eh. Yung sa
mabait.
yung may nagklase kami ni Wilson doon na naging scholars kami doon sa kanya computer school.
Iba yun.
Iba yun. So yun, Avic, yun yung makontribute ko siguro sa questions mo.
Very good, very good. Ang galing din ng memory, Siguro next time we should include, sino yung nag-lawyer sa atin? Ang galing ng memory. Lahat ng mga klase natin. Memory.
Si Jerry?
Si Jerry, grabe. Grabing memory.
Si Jerry.
Next time, I will include him.
He's back in Canada na eh.
Okay. So, now, let's go to the boss of all.
Yeah, the boss.
Wala ako na magbo-boss sa'yo. You have to be the one to give us now your top 3 study tips.
So, I was thinking kaninang umaga what to say kasi siguro it also because of the environment at that time, 'di ba? We went into college 83 to 87 batch tayo, 'di ba?
Yes.
And 83 was the Ninoy Aquino assassination. Times are hard. The times were hard. Talagang mahirap. The government defaulted and then coming from simple family, yung both parents of mine hindi nga nakatapos ng schooling kasi they went through the World War II. So talagang may mahirap. So I think yung students like us before would like to really strive for better lives. Also inspiration na natin yung mga parents natin. So yun yung ano, ngayon buzzword yung purpose and so on. But that time I think ang mahalaga sa akin, ano ba yung why am I studying? No? It's sabi nga ni Arnel, because of my parents. No? I want to repay what they were doing. I want to have a better life. No? So mahalaga yung tinatawag lang ngayong purpose. But at that time wala pa yung kinukoy na word na why are you studying? So kasi ang daming ano distraction di ba? Lalo na ngayon mga kabataan, so many distractions because they have a lot of options. But if you don't know your goal or yung purpose why you are doing things, it's easy for you to get off track. Di ba?
Okay, good, yes.
So yun sa akin yung importante. You first know your purpose, why are you doing things, and then the rest will be execution. Si Arnel and Hernie mentioned about peer group, no, or peer pressure or something like that. That
Peer
really works.
pressure.
Oo.
Oo.
Kasi we have to peer pressure because we were in a special class, di ba? It's the honors program, which is the premier program of the university, no? So of course nakakahiya pag hindi ka mag-excel. Plus ako kasi may mga subject akong I'm just giving it a shot para lang makuha yung grade kasi alam ko naman hindi ko naman gagamitin yung pag nagtrabaho ko eh. Yung meron kaming favorite professor ni Arnel,
Arnel.
isang Filipino professor yun sa Filipino subject, author pa yun. Natutulog pag nagtuturo. Talagang lumabas yung grade namin, bags ang baba. Basta ako yung pinakamababang grade ko kaya nung kinumpute ko, naku, tagilid ako dito. So every semester ang ginagawa ko every semester pag nakita ko na yung professor ko, sasabihin ko, ito yung goal na grade ko to. Okay. And then I'll pray for it and I will really focus that I get that grade. But pero yung mga subject na non-essential, pag tapos na exam, kalimutan ko na yan kasi limited lang naman yung utak ko eh. Pero pag yung subject na accounting, ayan, sabi ito yung pagkakakitaan ko pag nag-graduate ako. Kaya dapat alam ko to. Kaya sabi nga nila Arnel ni Ernie, pag nag-usap kami, accounting pa rin. Kasi yun yung purpose mo na later on, you know something, you can offer that will make you employed. No? So, dapat nakaplano. Whatever is the undertaking that you will take, dapat meron kang purpose so that you cannot easily get off track. And then, and focus on the goal.
Meron ba kayong tipong ginagamit na Excel file para kung ito yung grade, dapat ito yung grade nyo every time? Parang simulation Excel na ngayon ginagamit ng mga bata. Hopefully they are using that. Yung parang how do you calculate na ano dapat yung inyong grade na marireach dapat para mag-summa? Did you ever aim to be summa?
Ako ginawa ko yan. As I've said, kasi I want to give something to my parents. Okay? And lalo na when I became a Christian in 84 and 85, sabi ko, okay, I dedicate this to the Lord. The grades will come out as long as I put in the efforts. But I do sabi nga lalo nga nung naging professor namin ni Arnel, hindi ko alam kung professor ni Hernie yun yung Pilipino na yun, ang binigyan yata ako ng 2.5 noon.
Ayan. So you have to move up.
Bumagsak, talagang minomonitor ko yun. If I will what grades should I get this sem so that ultimately I'll get this kasi to me that's the only way I can repay my parents what they did. So that's the only thing that I can give them as a gift upon finishing college. So I do that. Pero wala pa akong Excel noon
Oo nga naman. Di ba i-introduce pa lang ng Lotus? Remember, tinawag tayo sa UE Theater. I-introduce pa lang yung Lotus, number of columns. Ikaw, Arnel, meron kang something like manual na ito ang grades mo dapat?
Wala akong ako noon ordinary students that's studying. As mentioned earlier, hindi ganun ka long term ang tingin ko katulad ni Wilson. Hindi ko nung tinitingnan yung graduation. Ang tinitingnan ko lang noon every semester. As mentioned earlier, siyempre ang target ko is yung
Scholarship.
grades ko na humabol ako sa scholarship. So hindi ganun kalayo yung outlook ko. Pero may tinitingnan din ako. At least at the end of the semester, naku, kailangan to ang habulin ko para at least man ma-maintain ko yung scholarship ko as tulong din sa parents ko noon. Oo, yun yung sa akin, wala, hindi ako napaka-systematic na masyadong malayo yung tingin. Pero mas short term ako doon kay Tol kaysa sa outlook ni Wilson.
Every semester, kung papasok yung scholarship, di ba? Para we pay the next
Oo,
semester less,
oo.
no?
Oo, kailangan ma-maintain mo yung ganito, average ko na ganito. So every grading period, titingnan mo syempre, nako, patay na to. Kailangan mag-exert ako dito, anong magagawa ko dito para mahabol ko yung grades. Yun yung at that time, ganun yung outlook ko.
Yes.
Medyo
A
nasa
little
short term siya.
Yes.
Oo, short term.
Ikaw,
So,
Hernie,
Either
swerte.
half or full, di ba? Either half or full scholarship, di ba?
Either half or
Oo,
full.
oo.
Pero syempre, maka-full ka, good. Maka-half ka, okay pa rin kasi malaking
Oo,
savings na yun eh.
mahirap ang buhay nun eh. Talagang malaki yung
Oo. Oo, hinahabol mo yung full. Pero kung hindi, at least ma-miss mo man, at least maka-half ka man lang, malaki ng tulong sa parents mo. Ang di ba?
Tama. Less ang tuition fee. Tama. Hinahabol ko rin yun eh. Kaya I was going to show that may manual. Nakita ko pa yung manual grading ko eh. Tinitinan ko every ano. So, I wanted to show that. Nakita ko rin yun ha. Dyaryo kayo.
Avic,
Kaya
ganun
alam
din
ko.
eh.
Masyado pala kayo, kaya pala summa
kaya
cum laude
pala.
kayo eh. Ako, ano lang ako, magna cum laude lang ako.
Dapat isa
Talagang binabantayan nyo pala.
Pero hindi, top-notchers ano to. Ayaw lang ni Susan Gaud na sumama. Ayaw lang niya. Pero tama, dapat 5 tayo dito sa screen. Ayaw lang niya sumama. Okay. So, well, it's not that my other classmate who also was like top-notcher, she was top 19. Susan, she could not make it. For some reasons, I was just joking that she didn't like to join us, but she really could not make it to the Tuesday schedule interview. So now I want to introduce to you a classmate of mine who graduated magna cum laude, and now she is in San Francisco in the States. She's been there for some time. She will introduce herself now.
Mary Ann Avedana, and I'm Avic's classmate from University of the East. My first job was with SGV and Company, and then I had a few jobs in the Philippines after that. And then I was able to get a jobs in Saipan, and then eventually in San Francisco, California. And so currently I'm the accounting manager for an advertising firm, and also at the same time I do consulting for various companies, but basically I just do accounting. Okay, so mine is a little bit more practical. Of course, you pick a space that's conducive to learning, like lighting, and then make sure there's no noise. I live in Pasay City, so middle income group. So I have to share my room with my brother. And so there's really no privacy. So I had to go to the library. That's my space.
Okay, so you might notice that the video of Mary Ann is a bit pixelated. So you will see that in a few more videos. So that is really something that I can mention to this Ecom Live software that we are testing right now in beta. So it did not happen with the 3 other, with the first group, but you will see a little bit more of that. So be patient, okay? So I also chose from that interview of Mary Ann that she was also an entrepreneur. So she did not have the luxury of time, okay? So she was still into some businesses. So let's hear it from her. Pero we're lucky, no? Nung araw wala naman social media. Baka naman your daughter would say, kasi kayo, mommy, wala naman kayong Facebook. So parang life was easier for us. What was your distractions then?
As I mentioned, I came from a middle-income family group. Even though we get free tuition sa UE, I still had to do some side business of my own so I could support, like yung mga expenses natin na hindi naman covered ng ating scholarship. I had to do some side business. You know, yung mga t-shirts from Divisoria. For example, I had to go to Divisoria and buy those shirts so I can resell them for a profit. And that would be my pamasahe for the day, something like that. So that's why the study time has to really be scheduled. Sa bahay din, we have like my mom, I help my mom, and then because my mom is like a dressmaker.
I think I missed one classmate of mine. That's also another tip. I think I go to that first. That's Tess Gallardo, and she graduated magna cum laude. Okay, so I asked her, "What is it, Tess, that you remember?" And I like what she said. Also, in line with what Wilson said, that he became a Christian then. So I will read. If you cannot, it says, ang naalala ko lang na ginagawa ko nung college was, bago ako pumasok, dadaan ako sa Santo Domingo Church. Diyan kasi yung babaan at sakayan ng jeep, papasok ng UE at pauwi sa amin. At magdadasal ako asking for guidance and help para maintindihan ko yung sinasabi ng teacher at makakuha ng mataas na grade pag may quizzes and exams. At ganun din sa pag-uwi. Then, umaattend ako ng novena for Santo Niño de Cebu every Friday, asking for help that I would be able to achieve my dreams of graduating with honors. Importante sa aking maging honor student kasi yun naman ang passport ko to get a better job, because sa hirap ng buhay natin, I was the hope of our family na makaahon kami sa hirap. Kung tips sa pag-aaral, yan yung tingin kong malaking factor sa akin. Kung paano ako nag-aral or nagre-review, di ko na maalala. Thank you very much, Tess, for sharing that. I really love that. Even if you could not provide the video, I love to emphasize that because well, I'm going to advance a little bit. When I was taking the board exam at a particular day, there was something like I thought that there was an error in putting my shall I say, you're supposed to have an ID attached to your exam. So I thought there must have been an error because I was seated with another Victoria. So when I approached the teacher, yes, my intuition was correct that my number was given to another Victoria. So I don't know, God could tell if I did not notice that, if I will not be in the top 20. But really, prayers really work because you cannot manage everything. Okay, so I want to now go to my own tips. So these are my grades. So one being the highest. You can see when I mentioned earlier that I lived a mediocre life. This is the first semester. I started with the first semester, second, third, and fourth. So I was reaching like 1.3. So I upped my grades from third year, first semester and onwards. So what did I do? The tricks, no? Specifically, the top 3 mistakes that kept me stuck in half scholarships. The first is studying in front of the television. And sorry for this photo, I did not have our poor house photo. This seemed to be a mansion, but it's just that it had the bed and the TV. So I used to watch a lot and I really enjoy the company of my family. So I just watched there. And probably because there was really not much space to study. But we were just watching television together. And even without watching television, I still reached the half scholarship, the grade for the half scholarship. But it was not really that good, no? And then the other mistake is eating while studying. No, I used to entertain that idea that peanuts will make your brain work faster. Now, of course, the doctor would advise me my own nutritional. The nutritional advice is not to take peanuts. Nothing against the peanut vendors, but it's just that I'm at a certain age that I'm avoiding peanuts. But there, I was distracted with so many food there, on my table. And mistake number 3 is attempting always to study on my bed. Attempting to study because eventually when I reach the bed, I sleep. Okay, so those are my 3 mistakes. So, and also the one quote that hit me, so if you saw the spike, there's one quote that I read from the book The Way by Saint Josemaria Escrivá. There is no excuse for those who could be scholars and are not. So somehow I read it like there is no excuse for those who can be full scholars and are not. So it really hit me. And I know that there must be some things that should change in my study habits a little bit so that really I could reach the full scholarship. And it will be also a big relief for my parents because they will not pay any tuition for me. I think they only paid miscellaneous fee, but it's really a huge amount that was saved from the family finances. So what did I do? Change number one. So I hope that with these three things, if you finish this webinar with just these three things and you could put some little changes. No, I'm not going to ask for a full conversion, but just put little changes in your study habits. And these are the things that I did so that there's that little spike that I reach full scholarships from third semester, from third year, first semester. No? And then the end product was I graduated with summa cum laude. Okay, so I study. The first is I study inside my bedroom. So you're saying you're in bed? No, I had to reposition. That's number three. Reposition the table and the chair so that my bed is. I'm not looking at my bed. So it's a big temptation to be always seeing it. So I made a big change. I asked for a table. So it's this table, the wall, the neighbors could actually see me and they would always recall that I look like a frame, picture frame, because I never moved from the window. No, could be I'm studying for 4 hours, but it's like 4 subjects. I don't study 4 hours for one subject for 4 hours, but I was not really moving. But I think I moved to the kitchen to get something, but it's just that they always recall that I look like a picture frame. And then no food on my study table. So my rest is really to walk, and I still kept that habit. Right now, if you watch my video on how I like do work-life balance, working from home, I really have to walk to the kitchen. So I started that when I was reviewing, when I was in college, moving to the third year. And then that's it. I mentioned to position my table and chair with my back on my bed. Okay? So that's it. We haven't finished because we have not tackled the second part of this. Let me see. I want to add a comment from here. One thing, let me see if I can read this. One thing na common sa kanila, they want to get good grades to get a scholarship and help their parents. Very good intentions. Thank you, online shopping Missy. I think I know her. Okay, so now let's move on to the discussion, the interview that I had with the top-notchers. Again, for those who were late, I want to mention that the top 20 were we were in the top 25 of us from UE. Okay, and Susan is not able to join us now or last Tuesday. So let's go to the discussion on how they were able to top the board exam. Can we go now to our study tips to be in the top 10? Si Hernie ang pumasok sa top 10, di ba?
Yeah, si
And the
Hernie.
rest of us, 11 to ako 20, si Susan 19. Ano nga, Wilson, top 12 ka ba?
12 ako, 12.
12. Arnel, nakalimutan ko na, 15?
15 yata ako,
14
15.
Ayan, maganda pang
15.
memory natin. O sige, papakita ko rin yan sa screen, yung kinat out ko sa newspaper. Ayan, nanadya dyan kayo. So let's start with the top notcher. Okay, Hernie, did you ever really aim to be tops?
Well, no.
Wala kang maalala?
I just want to pass at that time, I think. Like I said, there's too many distractions at that time. I think there was a time that in si Ferdy and Ariel and I were, trying to get, employment. I just can't remember kung after graduation or something. But maybe that's, I just got lucky that I wasn't accepted at the time, so I was able to, fully concentrate on in my reviews. But no, there was no at the time. Yeah, I think we we dreamed of, making it, to top 10 or top 20, just to give some, to bring back the glory days of UE at that time. Remember, I think there was an attempt, for the unit, for the management of,
Maharishi?
the university at the time. Remember,
Yes.
they created that special review class just for
Yeah,
us.
that's true, that's true.
Yeah, first time.
So yon, parang inalagaan din kayo, no? And so somehow if ever the aiming is external, meaning talagang pinupush ang UE to be top, no?
Yeah,
Tama,
that's
Hernie?
Right. Yep.
Okay, great. Wilson, top 12. Ano ang
okay. Kala ko
nag,
Marasigan eh. So, bago
ay,
tan. Hindi,
ano
okay
yung
lang.
parang, did you make it your purpose to land in the top 20 aside from all the motivation coming from the UE Review School?
Uh, there was that aim kasi sabi nga my life take a turn when I became a Christian in 84, 85. And I was also a working student at that time because I was, di ba, nag-enroll tayo sa data point, and then after that we
Yeah,
took
that's right. Yep.
as a teacher, so that I can earn on the side. Until and I was also doing daily Bible studies in UE, even in review school, nandoon. So nandoon yung desire to sana I can land in the top. But sabi ko, kahit pumasa lang, there were a lot of pressure because the church was also praying for me. So, but sabi ko, I'll just give it my best. I remember kasi pareho kasi kami sa UST ni Arnel nag-take ng exam. Ewan ko si Ernie kung saang school eh. So, I
UE
can
ako.
still
Sa UE ako nag-exam.
UE. Kami
San
ni
Beda
Arnel,
yata ako.
dinaanan ko pa yan sa sa bahay niya kasi on the way to UST. And if you recall, Arnel, at the ground ng UST before we parted ways and went to our respective rooms, we even prayed at that ground. And sabi ko, Lord,
Yeah.
we gave our best. Please take care of the rest. So, and I have a guiding verse which until now I use in Proverbs 16:3, commit thy works unto the Lord and thy thoughts shall be established. So, I was aiming, kasi nandun din yung UE. They formed the pilot class. Lahat ng Latin honors they offered for free scholarship. We have sessions both in the morning, in the afternoon. Grabe yung mga actual past exam na binibigay sa amin. So nandun doon yung preparation. Also, siyempre, in my heart, why not attempt, no? Attempt great things for God, sabi nila. But nung kalaon na, sabi ko, grabe na to. Kahit pumasa na lang, di ba? But siyempre, you give it your best. And again, the one above will take care of the rest. Basta you give your best. Kasi mahirap if you don't give your best. Marami kang isipin, what if I do this? But at least if you give your best, then you give it your best.
Mahaba pang hintayan no? 6 months bago lumabas ang results, no?
Oo, hindi
Hindi
katulad
katulad
ngayon, after 2-3 days.
Okay, Arnel, ikaw naman. What are your,
Ako
bakit ka nagland sa top 15?
ano ba 'yon? Siguro dahil sa dasal ni Wilson. Nasama ako.
Yeah.
Tama.
Nasama ka.
Wala kasi magdasal si Wilson eh. So sabi nga niya, nung
Tama.
day
Choose a
namin
good company.
Oo, lagi
Sabi niya,
kaming
basta huwag
magkasama
mo
dyan.
akong lalamangan, sabi niya.
Kasi naman, ang sabi ko nga earlier, as long as nag-aaral ka naman on a daily basis yung lessons mo, naintindihan mo. So when it comes doon sa itetest ka, kung naintindihan mo talaga yung lessons from your heart, so maintindihan mo siya or magagawan mo ng paraan kung paano mo siya sasagutin. So ibig ko sabihin is, kung may mga boards exam, huwag mong intayin yung review class bago ka sabihin mo na dito ang time ko para mag-aral. When you are studying your subjects, doon pa lang intindihin mo na para pagdating ng board exam of 4 years pa man yung darating, alam mo na yung mga foundations. Hindi ka mahihirapan sa review. Kasi kung hindi mo alam yung foundations, in a way, para ka lang nagka-cramming din sa exam kung sa review mo lang lahat iintindihin. Hindi mo mako-cover yung 4 years na dapat inaaral mo into ilan. Ilang ba ang review natin? Ilang months ba yun, Tol? 3 months ba?
6 months yata. 6 months.
6 months. Oo.
Yeah,
Hindi mo ako ha, personally, I think, hindi
Hindi
mo
kaya yun.
kakayaning lahat, ikakram mo sa 6 months, yung dapat inaaral mo ng 4 years. Magandang tulong kung mag-effort ka talagang mabuti sa review, pero hindi mo kailangang sa review lang mag-effort. From that time na nag-i-start ka, lalo na kung sabi nga ni Wilson, kung talaga namang tingin mo yan ang iyong puso, nasa accountancy ka, talagang doon pa lang every day ng klase mo, isa puso mo yung accountancy lessons mo para pagdating ng board exam o review, hindi ka masyadong mahihirapan. Madali na ang recall. Having said that, hindi nga ako nangarap na magtatap. So basta aral lang, gawin lang, the best. Yung sinasabi nga nito, sige, kung anong kaya kong gawin, bigay lang, todo lang. Alam ko noon, dahil nga kinakabahan pa ako kung papasa ako. Nag-try pa nga ako, hindi ko alam sino ba yun, nag-try akong mag-enroll ng mas maaga sa review school.
May mga kasama tayong undergrad pa tayo, nag-review na sila.
Wow, galing. Maganda din yan. That's a good study tip.
Nag-try din ako sana niyan eh. Hindi ko lang alam, kaya remember yung pangalan ko nasa nasa
Sipar ba yan?
ano ba
Sipar
yun?
yata kayo
Sipar or something?
Sipar.
Oo.
Yeah.
Oo. So,
Tama
kasi-
tayo yata dalawa. Nag-enroll yata tayo sa Sipar.
Ayan, naalala na ni Hernie. Serious din pala.
But we did
Nag-aga pa ng review.
Maybe we attended some of the classes, kaso nga lang, because of the offer ng UE, we decided to concentrate dun sa UE. But I
Yung
think we
regular
just,
na.
try to get yung mga materials dun sa Sipar.
Kasi
As
that time,
additional
sabi na,
review materials.
di ba, sabi natin, dapat para makasiguro tayong papasa, hindi, papasa pa lang tayo na mas maaga tayong mag-review, di ba? Total, libre naman dahil doon sa grades natin. So, okay lang tayo na mag-enroll. Kaya lang alam ko, hindi rin natin natapos yun eh. Kasi nagre-reklamo ang isang naging challenge namin noon, may mga kasi evening class lang naman kami nag-a-attend noon dahil may klase sa umaga. Nagrereklamo yung ibang mga katabi namin noon sa review school. Kasi nagtataka sila bakit ang bilis-bilis namin maka-pick up. Tapos yung siyempre mga kasabay namin noon, mga mga nagtatrabaho din. Nagwo-work or mga repeaters. Kasi nga, gabi lang eh. So, napuprostrate sila. Minsan sinasabihan kami, natatanda namin tol, Hernie, na ano ba naman kayo? Pagka ganyan, napuprostrate kami kasi hirap na hirap kami mag-aral. Bakit kayo? Tinutulungan naman namin sila. But, yun, having said that, wala akong hindi ko pinangarap na mag-land doon sa top nga. Siguro nga, ang malaking factor is bukod doon sa daily na sinasabi ko na kailangang intindihin mo yung lessons, yung tulong din, yung divine guidance. Swerte ako kasi lagi akong katabi ni Wilson noon. Alam mo naman si Wilson, malakas siyang magdasal.
Kung natabi pala ako, mas mataas siguro ako.
Buti siya nakasabay ko sa baka hindi ako sumama at least kay Wilson na bago pa na
maganda yan.
Nadasalan pa niya ako na isama tuloy ako sa sa blessings niya.
Very good.
Pero alam mo,
Avic,
I
just want to add something.
Sige. Okay. And then Wilson, yes, after.
I think Arnel and Wilson will remember this. But I think our batch at the time, I felt that has a good chance na makapasok talaga sa top 20. Remember when we had those accounting challenges with other universities, the one that we went to LaSalle, that we almost won the top prize? Kung sinunod nyo lang yung sagot ko.
Hindi ko ma-remember yun. What
actually, yung na yun, quiz na yun, hinatak lang tayo kasi unlike in the other schools na may preparation sila, kami, sige, sama na nga tayo. Wala talagang preparation.
We landed I think we got the third prize dun sa accounting quiz na yon.
Okay.
And I think that that quiz was won by yung taga UP yata eh. But that gave us some confidence that may pag-asa pala tayo. So
babalik ang
nanalo natin LaSalle eh.
But like I said, kung sinunod lang ng dalawa to yung mga sagot ko, malamang kami nanalo doon.
Grabe yung hugot, 35 years, parang magagalit na si Hernie pa rin. Hindi niyo sinagot. Okay,
Just
that happens.
joking.
Yes, of course, that happens. O, ikaw, Wilson. Nasa na ba tayo? Meron kang gusto sabihin kanina after Arnel.
Yeah, kasi, okay, we're talking about yung summa cum laude, how to top the board. Ang mahalaga kasi dyan is, okay, all these undergrad studies, these are important in preparation for the actual, when you go to the business world, di ba? And it's not kaya sabi nga ni Arnel, wag yung i-cram mo sa 6 months review what you should have been doing for the past 4 or 5 years. Kasi the ultimate goal in life is not to really, okay, pass the board exam, but what's important is what comes after. And what you will do in your 4 or 5 years in college, ano yan preparation yan of what you will be after, yung discipline mo. Like for example sa SGB, marami dyan top placer. But pag makita mo yung ano nila, yung
Work
attitude
habit.
nila,
Yeah.
discipline, kung minsan wala doon o kaya for example, they cannot even express themselves properly because ang gusto lang nila i-ace yung CPA exam. Pero merong mga foundational discipline that you should cultivate while you're in the undergrad, di ba? Even the discipline. Kaya sa akin nga, sabi ko, sa akin, between having a Latin honor and topping the board exam, I will give more weight to the Latin honor achievement. Kasi that speaks about consistency of discipline throughout the 4 or 5 years in college. Kasi you may be, on the day of the exam, depende sa mindset mo yun. Kung minsan, ako nga, na-blackout ako dun sa isang exam for 30 minutes, di ako makagalaw kasi naisip ko pa yung previous exam. So that could happen. Pero the years spent in terms of your discipline, okay, cultivating your discipline within that 4 or 5 years in college will spell a big difference whether you're successful after taking the exam. Yun ang importante. Diba? What comes after kasi yung discipline mo, yung attitude mo that you bring to the actual the real world, no, that na-form yan during your college and even before that, di ba? So yun yung importante. If you top the board, I think that's like parang icing in the cake na lang, di ba? Anybody, lalo na ngayon, multiple choices lahat, di ba? Kung na-blackout ka lang, mahirap yan But yung consistency of your habits, no, form or your discipline within that 4 or 5 years, importante yan kasi babaunin mo yan matagal yan
Tama. Okay, I really would like to ask for more tips. Kaya lang it's already 8:46. Ayan, kailangan magtrabaho si Arnel. Parang hinahanap na siya ng kanyang mga kasama. Kailangan na matulog ni Hernie. Pero I'm so happy. Thank you very much for your time, ha? Okay? Maraming salamat. Okay, I hope you like that. Would you like to put some comments? What is it that you got from that discussion of the top-notchers? Let's see. I hope you're all listening. What is it that you will bring home with you? I mean, all of us are home, no? But basically, what is it that you got from that? From what have you gotten so far as the tip that you will, or that idea that you will keep that is inspiring you to really excel? Let me know in the comments. Okay, mahiyain ang mga batang to. Okay, so, Rhea said, I agree to Sir Arnel. Okay, good. So, it's already 7:10 and I have some very, very short clips from Mary Ann. Okay, so I just would consider, okay, good. Now I have yan. Okay, so Andrea said, yung mabuo po ng foundation habang nasa college pa kaysa mag-cram sa review. That's a very good learning. And for those who are in freshman or in sophomore, really you're building your achievement as a top-notcher still from those freshman and sophomore years. Okay. And then Kay Seca said, I really love the part na choose good companions. I really think that it was a really good idea, no? Sometimes we are in a lose-lose situation. I just recall that really they would spend time. I would go home to Malolos, but my classmates would spend time doing group studies in the library. And even if we like we would take lunch in Loyola Street. Earlier they mentioned, I don't know if they mentioned Lepanto, but actually I thought it was Loyola where we would take lunch. We're still talking about accounting, no? So it's really good company. Okay. Rocky said, great talk is really the consistency that matters. Okay, and you will really reach the end successful. Okay, and from Christine, it is important to have goal and purpose. Okay, and Dana said, ako po tamad talaga. Thank you po sa motivation. Sumipag na po ako. Okay, good. Let's see. You know, conversion is a matter of a moment. Okay, so but really trying that every day, day in and day out, whether you succeeded in an exam or not, good luck. No, you have to be consistent. No, okay, just a few more clips, and then I come back and we finish. We close this live stream. I just emphasize one or two tips, huge tips. I really learned from Mary Ann, so I will share with you.
Practice, practice, and practice. From that review school, we practice the examination questions, and I think they gave us some questionnaires from previous years' examinations, and that really helped a lot because when you see the question and you're familiar with it, then it's very easy for you to answer the question, and
Right.
it's not a struggle anymore.
Yung last part na sinabi mo, practice, actually, ikaw yung una nagsabi. The three others, the guys, did not do that because probably they assume it that really you have to practice. And I thought that it is good to remind the people because I'm going to give them extra books. And some of them are old. I told them in one of my YouTube, don't complain if it's old because the important thing is to practice. Because hindi naman lahat bago sa accounting eh. You know, you start with the basic, you practice. So it's good that you mentioned that. No? Because sometimes they like everything new. Pero makaka-practice ka naman ng exercises. The examiners naman will not really have everything new. The CPA examiners here in the Philippines will not have all new questions.
The other tip that I have to stress, I think what really worked for me is yung index cards. I know at first I was doing, like what others are doing, highlighting the book. And, like it became a thread, I think, during our time where we will highlight the book and then read and then highlight. But what really worked for me is having those index cards. After reading something, then you summarize what you learned from what you read, and then you do bullet points. And so during the last week, I would just look at those index cards and remind myself those bullet points. And then it's kind of like a recall from those cards. I would recall what I highlighted or what I read. And then if there's something that I am kind of like not sure about, or I would go back to the book or something like that.
Okay, so with that, I really like that idea, no? Using index cards. I didn't use that, but I thought that I still recall some classmates of mine who would be doing that. And still later on, I met some people who would still use index cards. So I thought that is a very good share from Mary Ann. So the evening is like, it's already 7:14, and I don't want to detain you from your dinner. So I really appreciate your presence in this live stream, and hopefully again we will have more of this. In probably we can try Fridays. You subscribe to my channel, and you will get announcements for my live streams on study habits. And this is my contribution, being always a teacher. I would really want that my students would always aim to excel, no? Because this is like, there is no second chance. I have to share with you that I always study every day for my board exam, always thinking I should never pass this way again. I don't want any repeat. No, I don't want any, like, not pass 3 subjects and retake them. So no, I should never pass this way again. No, so that is my theme. My if there was a song, I can't remember already, but really I have to do it this only once. I don't want any repeat. Okay, so I hope you also consider that. No, still now in your college years, don't think anyway. Pwede ko nang ibagsak. I go no, because life is so difficult. No, meaning your parents. Think of your parents. If you again will fail, they will still fund your tuition. Okay, so be very intentional and always having as your purpose to always pass and excel if possible in each subject. Okay, I failed to put a screenshot. I asked my classmates then, I said, you know, I recall that one of us did really a good sprint in the last and in the fourth year, second semester. It's like the grade, the professors just use a ruler because all of the grades were 1.0. I failed to put a picture and I asked them, please PM me for that. And one messaged me. I was able to read it at 5 a.m. Sabi niya, don't mention my name anymore. But really, I saw the transcript of the fourth year, second semester is really like ruler, all one. No, so it's possible. No, you have to think of that. If you only put that extra effort, you might reach that. No, having all one. Probably if the other years were low grades, still that could be your saving factor. So always there is a chance to begin again. Okay, so with that, I would like to end this live stream. Thank you very much for joining, and do subscribe to my channel for more of this. I was saying that don't subscribe, you just tell your parents, but I thought that this is a good topic. So I just do this probably every Friday. And if you subscribe, then you will be given some notice. I will have another live stream on study habits, another interview with top-notchers. Okay, so have a good night. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, sorry, this is not the right one. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I'm inspired, Kathleen. I think I'll have more of this if you can help many young people like you. Thank you. Okay, yes, John Christian, if you subscribe, then probably you will get the notice that I have more, and I have another set of top-notchers. Thank you, Kyla, for coming. We hope to meet you again in the group. Thank you, Christine. I didn't get to mention earlier your remark, but thank you. I read that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have to go and have a good dinner, everyone. Have a good dinner.